If you knew that your thoughts could manifest your reality, what would you do differently? Would you start thinking differently? Would you stop reacting? Would you be more grateful? What would your thoughts look like? Would they be the same as you did yesterday or that you had for the last 5 years? Or would they be different? Would you be thinking differently? Would you be acting differently? How would you go about your life knowing that tomorrow you could have everything that you want? Because this is true, right? This is true. If you've never met me before, my name is Alia, and I talk about all things manifestation, mindset, spirituality, all of that good stuff. So I'd love to have you here. Okay, cool. Let's get into this because this is really, really interesting, right? Personally, I think your life is determined off of the thoughts that you have. Your thoughts are the key factor, the denominator factor of everything in your life. The way that you think and perceive your life is the way that your life is going to look like. It's cause and effect, right? And I don't like using the word manifest because I feel like manifest has become so sensationalized recently, especially in the last couple of years, because it's become this word that it's become almost magical, right? And nothing is magic. Nothing can be magic. It's either you or no one, okay? I'm personally a religious person. So for me, to say that I can create something out of nothing is insane because I know that God exists. I know that there is something outside of ourselves, a being, aka God, that creates everything, that creates my heart and my brain and allows me to live and allows me to be here and experience life in these beautiful ways. But God gave us free will, so we have the decision to make different choices every single day. We have a choice. We have the ability to decide from right or wrong. We have the ability to choose from up and down. We can decide whether an experience benefits us or takes away from us. We can decide that. We have that ability, and it's our choice to do that. Yes, our choices are influences by experiences and previous influences and parents and family and culture and religion. Yes, they influence that. But we can also decide that the menial decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, the feelings that we experience can also be changed as a result of us, our brain, our thoughts, our choices. We can decide how we look at something. The biggest thing that I've seen in my life throughout my manifestation journey is not necessarily the things that I manifest, but mainly the way that I felt as a result of that specific thing. I used to have a very, very bad relationship with money. I used to be very, very anxious spending money. I would literally save so much money that I would not spend on myself. And if I do spend on myself, it was as if like the world is crumbling down. That's how it would feel. I would go into a literal panic attack, like spending money, which I don't even know where it came from, but all I know is that that's not a good influence to have on my choices now, especially if I want to make a lot of money, if I want to be financially independent, if I want to be traveling the world, I want to feel free, I want to feel blissful, especially in my financial life. I can't have that influence dictating the choices that I make now in this moment. Whether this experience from before came from childhood or parents or whatever does not have to impact my decisions now as an adult. It just doesn't have to, because I can choose for them not to be, right? With love, for example, I never had the best love growing up or with people or experiencing friendship love or love. It never really worked, right? And the main thing that I saw from this is like, in order for me to make different decisions, I have to be the person that decides to not let those influences dictate the way that I make choices now. Okay? And it allowed me to set a different meaning for my life. It allowed me to choose differently. It allowed me to experience life differently. Now, when I spend money, there's not an anxious feeling inside of me. Sometimes there is. Sometimes it does come up. But most of the time, I feel excited spending money because I know that I'm getting something more out of it. It's not the fact that when I spend money, I'm losing something. If anything, I'm gaining something. I set the meaning to my life. That's the way that my thoughts change when I ask myself this question. If my thoughts could manifest in the next 24 hours, if my reality could become true, what would I think differently? And the way that I answered this question was by looking at role models, right? I started to look at people that I aspire to be like. How do they think about money? How do you think that they would walk around when they spend £500 on, I don't know, a trip? Would they be excited, or would they be more worrying about the money that they spend rather than being present in the trip? What would they be like? Right? Would they be stressing about spending £10 on a coffee? Probably not. They'll probably just spend it and go about and drink their coffee and actually enjoy having the coffee, right? When they think about love, do you think the person that you aspire to be like has a great relationship, right? Do you think they'd sit there thinking, oh my God, I don't know how this person does this and does this and does that. I'm so worried. No, they're probably very confident in themselves. They know who they are. They know their relationship. They trust themselves, right? They trust who they are. They trust the capability, the value that they hold in that relationship. And as a result of that, they walk and talk and act like that person. That's exactly what you need to be. Your thoughts are powerful. I can give you a multitude of different reasons. Literally, being placebo effects. A placebo is essentially your brain thinking, oh my God, this is working for us. This is physically working for us. World War II, they gave sugar pills. They gave insulin instead of morphine to war soldiers who needed to have legs amputated, and they would feel no pain. Just because that person believed that they were being given morphine when they were actually being given insulin, right? Maxwell Maltz in Psycho-Cybernetics got told that whenever someone has a plastic surgery, they don't necessarily change the way that they feel, because thoughts are the indicating factor of how they feel and express themselves. If anything, when someone who's insecure gets plastic surgery, they probably feel even more insecure after getting that plastic surgery, even though we probably think it's probably going to have the opposite effect. In reality, it doesn't. There are so many case studies, research, psychological ones, psychotherapist ones, spiritual ones, religious ones, philosophy ones, that you can literally research into, saying that your thoughts can literally create your reality. Albert Camus speaks about this in The Fall. You set the meaning of your own life. There's no way, there's no discrepancy that can't decide that you are the denominating factor of how you decide that you want to look at this specific experience. So I really want you to take a moment of your day and start writing this question down and start thinking about, how would your life look like if you had the life of your dreams? What thoughts would you have? How would you be? Would you be more grateful? Would you be more content? Would you be more excited? What would you be like? How would you act? How would you think? How would you talk? How would you walk? And start applying it. Start applying it right now. Start acting, being, thinking like that person. And let me tell you this, a little caveat, right? There are going to be moments in your day, in your weeks, in your months, throughout your life, where these old thoughts are going to pop back up. And they're not going to come up like a little hey, like a little mouse saying hello with their little squeaky voice. No, they're going to come vigorously, because your body loves comfort. Your body loves what is already known. So in order for you to change your life to be someone that you have never known before, you are going to be uncomfortable. And it's okay to feel uncomfortable. But even in that uncomfort, even in that discomfort, you have to make a choice to think differently. And when you keep on indulging, relishing in that thought process, relishing in that imagination that you already have that thing that you want, you're going to instantly feel that the more you do it, the more that feeling state becomes accumulated and fundamental, enforced inside of you. And the next time it happens, it's not going to feel as harsh. But again, look, I'm not saying life tests you. Your ego tests you. You yourself test you. Comfort is the demise of dreams. Comfort is the demise of so many people's dreams. There's where a graveyard of dreams lives, where comfort exists. Okay, you have to learn to be uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable. Be okay with not feeling great when you're spending that money the first couple of months or the first couple of weeks, when you're trying to change your reality. It's going to happen. But the main thing you need to remember is every single time you say that you have this thing, you've already received it. There is no difference between the life that you create and the life that you are wanting. It's literally parallel to each other. The reason why you want this life is because it's in your life already. It's because it's there. It's supposed to be there. It's a desire that God, if you believe in God, planted in your heart for a reason. It's supposed to be there. So in the moments where you feel uncomfortable and you want to feel better, relish in the idea, relish in what you would do with the money. Feel good about spending that money. Who would you give it to? Are you going to be a philanthropist? Are you going to give it to someone? Are you going to walk out on the street and give a homeless person a house for the rest of their life? What are you going to do? Imagine how good that will feel knowing that you can do that. And see and watch that anxiety and that discomfort just dissipate into nothingness. And it will come up, but not as strong, and dissipate it. It will come up, but not as strong, and then dissipate it again, until that discomfort doesn't exist for you anymore. The more you do this, you become a different person. Your thoughts and your perspective is the only thing that changes you from another person sat next to you. If everyone thought the same, we'd be living the exact same life. Am I right? Am I right? So when you start thinking to yourself, if I want to be a different person, I just have to think differently, because the person who has this thinks differently. Yes, they've had these experiences, but they don't let those experiences dictate who they are in this life. So what would you do? How would you think if you knew that your thoughts manifested everything that you want in your life? What would you be thinking about?